So I got fired from my job as an operator at the suicide hotline. One night I received a phone call from this guy. He sounded very depressed. He told me his life is falling into pieces. Everybody around him hates him. There's nothing going on for him. He just hates his life. And there's no way out. And he could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. He told me he's going to end it tonight, right now. And in a panic, I told him, hang on. And so he did. That was a horrible joke. That was actually my housemate and my joke. We came up with it together, and it's horrible. Anyways, I told myself that I shouldn't max out so often, or I shouldn't do a true 1 rep max, but today I just had to do it to the bench press, you know. I hovered so close to my all-time best, just 2.5 kilogram away from my all-time best. And I'm not going to be doing this again for a while. I'm just going to be cruising, just getting in the minimum effective dose without burning myself out. Thank God there's no injury. There's no pain. Well, there's a little bit of a pain, but it's not as severe as before. So I'm just going to take it easy. And I would consider this a personal record because the bar that I was bench pressing on, it was hella slippery. And it was like an Olympic bar, you know, for people to do clean and jerks and snatches on. The bars with the very loose collars that spin around. And you sort of need those bars in explosive movements such as clean and jerk and snatch, because you're using momentum to get the weight off the ground and then get into a position overhead. So the collar needs to be flexible and needs to spin. The plates actually need to spin to accommodate for this momentum. I don't really know how to explain this, but for those explosive movements, you need a bar that is sort of have like those dynamic collars that make the plates spin. But for slow movements such as the bench, the squats, the deadlift, I would consider these like heavy movements. And often when people do these movements, they move slowly. They move in a controlled manner. That's what you want to do in these movements. You want stability. And so that's why a specialty bar for powerlifting, the collars are actually very rigid. So the plates don't actually move as you press the bar or squat or deadlift it, moving through space, you know. So I would consider this a PR because the bar that I was bench pressing on today, it was hella loosey-goosey. As I pressed the bar off my chest, I could feel the plates moving, spinning. It's hard to demonstrate this on video, but I feel like my wrist, even though I try to stack them as much as possible, trying to grip the bar as hard as possible, there's still some movement, some leakage of power. The force is not transferred evenly. I feel like a lot of my force output is being lost into the ether, you know, like, look at this. Boom. It moved fast, but I feel like it could have moved faster had I used a power bar, like one of those really stiff bars. So you can see here, misgrooved, boom. I knew that I could have gotten it, so I went for it again. But yeah, Pete was using the power bar. Pete was one of the other power lifters at the gym. I talked about him before. Okay, so this is 107.5 kilogram, just 2.5 kilogram away from my all-time record. I know that I will surpass it eventually, not now. I'm patient. It will happen eventually. So these are just, you know, practice sets, sub-maximal sets. I swear by these because they help me practice my form, and I think of training more so like practicing rather than pushing myself to the limit, especially for these big, heavy, technical movements. I want my form to be perfect or close to it. So that's why I'm lifting sub-maximally or training like a bitch, as some people at the gym have referred to me as. But yeah, I swear by these, man. They work. They do work. You don't have to be lifting heavy ass weight all the time. Well, if your goal is to maximize strength output on like any given moments, you don't need to be lifting heavy ass weight all the time. If your goal is to lift as heavy as possible for this one occasion, you know. Anyways, that's training out of the way. It's really boring. I don't know why are you guys still watching this? Yeah, I want to talk about something else as well. You can't really change people. And I feel like most people who are in long-term relationships, they end up tolerating each other rather than staying with each other because they really, really like each other. You know, I feel like nowadays I just tolerate people. I get close to people whom I can tolerate. I don't pick friends because I like them. I pick friends because I can tolerate them. It's funny. It's a weird concept, but hear me out. When you're in a long-term relationship, after that initial period of honeymoon, you get used to the person's quirkiness and you know all about their idiosyncrasies. You start to tolerate them rather than obsessing over them, if you know what I mean. Like when you start dating a girl, you really like her because of her beauty, because of she's cool, she does this, she has the same interest, or whatever the trait may be that got you interested in the first place. But then over time, those things sort of fade and you find that you're not really infatuated with them anymore, but rather when you start dating them for a long time, you realize, man, sometimes they can be really annoying. And if you're cohabitating, if you're living with your partner, you find that, oh shit, sometimes they do things that just get on your nerves all the time. But you learn to tolerate that. And I feel like with my parents, they don't have passionate love anymore. Like they are not madly in love with each other anymore, but they're still together, and they are still together because they tolerate each other. You know, there has to be a giver, and a receiver, a push, and a receiver. You can't always be pushing each other's buttons all the time. But who am I? Who am I to talk about this? It's just my observation. I find that most people who are in successful long-term relationships, they're not madly in love with each other. They learn to live with each other. That's what I mean. You grow together as a person. You learn to tolerate each other. And same thing with my friends as well. I don't think they're cool. Not anymore. They used to be cool, but now I just think of them as, yeah, whatever. I tolerate them. I get used to their quirks. It used to really bother me, but now I seem to accept that's who they are. You can't really change people. My friends are weird as frick, but now I've come to accept their weirdness. And same thing with my housemate. He used to bother me a lot. He used to be really annoying, but now I've come to accept and tolerate some behaviors. It doesn't mean that I will take shit from everybody and I'm a total pushover and I'll let people walk over me. No, that's not what I mean. But there are things you need to learn to let it slide in order to move on with your life and in order to live harmoniously with the people around you. And I think that is very important in this day and age. People seem to be antagonizing each other, thinking of themselves as us versus them, forming factions and getting into cults. That's not the way to live for me. Anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Stay strong. God bless. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing day. don't think too much about this video. It's just me rambling. These videos are very stupid and act more like a diary entry more than anything. I know that my thoughts and emotions will change, and so will yours. So I'm just glad I'm able to capture this and share it with the world. Anyways, that's enough rambling. Love you all. Bye.